So I guess it's 5, and we can just dive in. And as people come in, they can join in to our session and kind of
Sure.
ride the wave with us. So first of all, again, thank you so much, Vidya, for joining us today. I mean, you come with a plethora of experience in terms of mind and how do you take control of what is in what you can do, right? And it starts from there instead of turning outwards and seeing what you cannot control and those sorts of things. And just in terms of work-life balance, I think with COVID and working from home and an added thing of the stress, right, of COVID itself, right? People who are wanting oxygen supplies and ICU beds, and I know people who are volunteering, and without even knowing, it does affect us mentally,
Yes.
and we need to take the time to accept that, and it's good because that's how we feel more rejuvenated to give more. And even in terms of work, I feel like and then there's also life, and and then if you're a woman, you have kids, and then you have cooking, and you have so many other things, right? And so with that, I'm going to turn the floor to you, Vidya, and take us
Sure.
through your learnings and what you have in store for us to kind of learn from, to keep this work-life balance going.
Sure. So let me, if you can allow me to share my screen.
Yes.
A big hello to all of you. I see there are a lot of guys also, and whatever I'm going to speak is relevant to guys as well as uh, women, and because it's life, right? And actually, when you said work-life balance, there is no distinction. Everything is life. If you don't work, then that's not life. So, children, your relationships, your social, whatever you want to have fun, everything is a part of life.
Right.
Um, through a lot of trial and error, I have come to this stage where I can actually speak to you guys about it. I mean, even if you had asked me a couple of years back, I don't think I would have been ready because it didn't feel right for me when I'm not kind of balanced to talk about work life balance or talk about emotional fitness to others. It didn't seem right. So it has been a journey for me. So let me just share my screen with you. Um, just a minute. Huh?
How is everyone doing on the call? I only see Srini and Achal and Dikshita. What about the others? Well, I hope all of you guys are having a great start to the week. It's Monday. Monday.
Monday. So for a long time, when it was a Monday, it was always Monday blues, okay? For a long, long time. Until I worked on myself and where I started getting excited about Mondays. So it's your mindset and it's a decision you make about whatever it is you're facing. So okay, I'm Vidya and I call myself your happiness coach to uh, to everybody. I mean, because I believe that the purpose of my life, I went a lot trying to find the purpose of my life, and eventually I realized that the purpose of my life is to be happy with whatever I'm doing, whoever I am, the family I've been given, okay, and the families I've been inherited, and it's happiness. And so through the journey of me working on myself, I realized that I could, share some of my experiences to others also, whereby they can also kind of, experience what I'm experiencing. That's why this slide. So I just wanted to ask the rest of you, why are you here? So I know some of you are good friends with Amulya, so you're here. And some of you want to check out, what is this work-life balance? What is this lady going to say, which is something new? But I just wanted to hear from you guys. Why are you guys here? Anybody? I mean,
from my side, yeah, one is, of course, what Amulya is doing, a super cool initiative. Other one is the work-life balance aspect of it. I've read a lot about like work-life balance, why it's important and everything. I think I have a decent one, but I think off late there's so much happening with everything. I felt like some advice or something from a person like you when I read your bio, what Amulya put up. There's so much experience you're coming with, right? I felt like there's definitely something I can definitely take from this session and implement it in my life. Towards the happiness a little bit, but definitely on the work-life balance major, because work is getting a little hectic in spite of all this chaos what we're in. So I felt like there's definitely something I can take from the session. So I was looking forward to it.
So the moment there is a balance in whatever you're doing, work life or, work, children, whatever, okay, you will attain a state of happiness. So by happiness, I'm putting it very simply, as a child would put. If you ask a small child, okay, a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old, they understand only two emotions. I'm happy or I'm sad. Mom is angry with me, I'm sad. Okay, I got a chocolate today, I'm happy. So I'm just simplifying the whole thing, right? I mean, happiness doesn't mean, oh, I got a big contract and I'm happy. That's a one-day happiness or a one-moment happiness. This is a state of mind, happy or sad. And that's what we are going to explore today. So anybody else who wants to share with what takeaways they want from this session? Dikshita, Ayushi.
Hi, Andy. How are you?
Hi. I'm fine. Good to see you.
So for me, like, because I've been working from home since 2020 March, there is no line between personal life or professional life. The lines are blurred, and then you're constantly working. Even if you're not working, you're thinking about work. So the balance is just off. It's gone. When you go to office, you are at office, you finish your work and you come back to your personal life, but that's no longer the case. So that's where, and slowly people, some days they're very happy because there's so much work to keep them occupied, but that thing bogs them down the other day. So to find that balance and to get going with everyday life is why I'm here.
Very nice. And Achal, Sunita, any of you want to share? By the way, Achal is my daughter. So disclaimer. Okay. I mean, generally we all want to find this secret sauce for work-life balance and all that. So let's have a small quiz. And see, everything is to do with measurement. If you want to lose weight, you should know where you are right now. If you want to have a perfect body, you should know what are your measurements right now, right? Or if you want to see your health, you go for a blood test, right? You know your parameters. So even for your work, your life, so there's a small quiz which I want you to take. These are certain categories of life. And all this together, maybe some more, constitute life. So what I want you to do is, on a scale of 1 to 10, rate yourself, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest. Rate yourself in each of these categories. And so I'll just explain. Relationship with self is, your self-concept, or your, how do you connect with yourself? What do you see yourself as? We all have skills, capabilities, and things like that. But that is not the whole of us. How do you see yourself? For example, a mother, if her child is not doing well, she blames herself. Okay, so she finds herself responsible for whatever is happening with the child. Or say work is not going well, you blame yourself. Relationships with self. Okay, so that is one. And then second is health and fitness. How do you rate yourself with health and fitness? You rate yourself. Okay. Third is your career, or if you're studying, your education. Fourth is money. Money again is from where you are. How comfortable are you? Do you feel that you're on the right track? Okay, with the whole finances, or do you feel that no, this is something which really frustrates me? Romance or the significant other, because we all, after a certain age, we need one significant other. So what is it with your significant other, your relationship with the significant other? Then other relationships, that is your family, immediate family, very important. Your parents, very, very important. Your siblings and your closest of friends. And here, my mother used to live with me for the last, unfortunately in 2019, she passed away. And she lived with me for almost 10 years. But somewhere I used to always feel guilty that I'm not spending time with her, though we were in the same house. And a very small act of mine, where I would wake up in the morning, and as soon as I wake up, I would spend 10 minutes with her, just 10 minutes in the whole day. And that made a lot of difference in my relationship with her. So, whatever, how do you rate yourself for that? In personal growth, we all have, certain things we want to achieve, certain, constructs we want to break. So, how are you doing on that? And fun and social life. Fun and social life with these COVID times, it is a little difficult, but still you can still have fun. I mean, you can still put on a karaoke and sing if you want, or you can play a keyboard, or, you can listen to online, visit online concerts. So, where are you at all that? Or so if you can rate yourself, if everybody has rated themselves, just put in the chat box or just shout out. Aanchal, have you rated yourself? Can I go ahead?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So now that you've rated yourself, you can, can you see this circle clearly?
Mm-hmm.
You can plot yourself in that circle. Each of the points, you can plot yourself. You can draw your own circle with these 9 parameters and plot yourself. And if you were to draw a circle, how would that circle look? So for example, if you have a relationship with self 6, health and fitness, say 7, career education, you feel you're still at a 4. How would that circle look? This is just to draw your awareness to where you are right now in terms of your emotional fitness. Right? Can I go ahead?
Yeah.
Okay, I can see Chetan. That's why I'm... Yes. Okay. Srini, hi. So could you get this? I mean, this is a common coaching tool, which most of the coaches use. And I love using it because it gives you a perspective of where the person is. Right? So now that you have this wheel and you put it in your bus, who is driving the bus of your life? Is it a driverless bus? Who is driving this bus? Are you letting the bus take you wherever you want, wherever it wants to go? Or are you the driver of your bus?
We are the drivers.
Pardon? Yeah, pardon?
Yeah, we are the drivers.
Are you the driver? Truly?
Yeah.
Damn good. Damn good. So how many of you feel that you are the driver of your bus?
I feel like I'm the driver, but sometimes
Sometimes you let the bus drive on its own. So can you imagine? I mean, if you go through life, what I'm trying to say is, if you go through life, letting things take its course, okay, and so you'll be, I mean, you'll the bus will take you wherever it wants. Sometimes it will be a good place, sometimes it will be all the veechad and all that, but you have no control over it. Whereas if you are in charge and you know where you are at what point of time, then you are the driver. You know how to avoid the puddle, you know how to go to the places you want to go. You want to go to the mountains one day, you can go there. You want to go wherever, you want to go to Goa one day, you can go. So you are in control, right? But most of us, I mean, a lucky few are the true drivers of their bus, but most of us have gone through life letting others drive the bus, right? I mean, my story, I was born and brought up in Bombay, had, middle class family, and was a good student, studied well, okay, had a lot of, professional success, met the love of my life when I was some 17 or 18. I'm still married to him. So I had everything going for me. But if I truly look at my life, I was being driven by somebody else. It was not me. When I had, when I was working and then I had kids, I couldn't handle it. And then I had a daughter like Achal. So Achal, where are you? You're here, right? So Achal was a very spirited child, very, very spirited child. It was very difficult to handle her because I myself was only in my 20s when I had her. So we don't know. We don't know how to balance everything. And you have your husband who's also, very focused in his career. Though I had all the help in the world, but, it took a stress, it took a toll on my life, on my health. So, you have a lot of hormonal problems and things like that. That's when I started the search for how to take control, take charge of my own life. So that's my story. Fitness is a very, very important. Health and fitness is one of the areas which is actually a key contributor to our life. If you're healthy and you're fit, then you can do a lot of things. You can, take care, work effectively. You can have fun. You can take care of your family and everything. So what do you mean by fitness? If anybody can share. Srini, Dikshita.
Being physically active.
Okay. Physically active. Okay. What else?
Mentally and physically active.
Yes, absolutely. And what else? And tell me, how much of time do each of you spend on fitness, your physical fitness?
Half hour.
I know. Pardon?
Half an hour every day.
Half an hour every day. Okay. And how much of money do you spend?
Zero right now.
Okay. I mean, people go crazy.
Yeah.
Physical fitness with nutrition. And now, you have these keto diets and you have these whatever Palato diet. What diet is that? I mean, Paleo. Yeah. Then you have the high protein diet, and then you have the vegan diet, and then you have organic food and things like that. I mean, people do go crazy. Don't all of you go crazy? I mean, I know that I have gone crazy over all these diets. Very, very, very concerned about my physical fitness, right? And especially mothers, they spend so much of time and effort. I remember when my kids were small, my only focus was, am I giving them a balanced diet? Am I giving them protein and vegetables and milk and, whatever. So we spend a lot of time for ourselves and our families for fitness. But we only look at one aspect of fitness. We only look at the physical fitness. Nobody looks at the emotional fitness. Do you agree? I mean, how many of us have our parents kind of, actually looking at our emotional fitness? I have a lot of clients who are between their 20s and 30s, who've come from very good families, okay, and very well-meaning parents. But they have they're not fit emotionally. Once they come out into the real world, they are not fit emotionally. Do you all agree? Ayushi?
Yeah, I guess you're taught or like you're told to do things, but then no one teaches you how, like pay
How?
attention, meditate. Okay, how?
Yes. No, and the answer for every this emotional fitness is please do yoga and meditation. Okay,
Yeah.
you'll be emotionally fit. That's not it. You can do meditation for hours, and it is very helpful. It is very, very helpful. But what do you do after you meditate? Okay, are you like this lady can you see the screen? Yes. Are you like this lady who has so many kids and she's still happy? Or like this man who's happily doing his chores? So what do you mean by emotional fitness?
I guess being emotionally fit, regardless of how good or,
Yeah. So
bad
if you're
it
emotionally fit, then what will you do differently?
Be happy with whatever action you're doing.
Yeah.
Don't react to external stimuli so often.
Yes.
Be able to make yourself get out of being sad.
Yes, absolutely. Because being sad is human. We all are human. So we will go through our ups and downs.
Know what to what could affect you and what not to affect you. Like draw that line.
Absolutely. So I'll tell you this story. This is a true story. This is a friend of mine. This is about maybe 15 years ago when Achal was in second grade or something. She had this friend called Priyanjali. Achal had this friend called Priyanjali. And Priyanjali's mom was a friend of mine. Okay. And both of us were working mothers. And the kids would go off to school, catch the school bus at 8 o'clock. And I had to leave for work at 8:30. So between 8 and 8:30, I would have this everyday call with Priyanjali's mom. And I am struggling here. I had a cook, a full-time maid, and I had a driver, and I had all the support. And Priyanjali's mom, I would call her up and say that, hey, what are you doing? What did you send for lunch to the kids? And she'd be like, I made this very nice roll and I tried out these things and things like that. Okay. And here I have struggled and just put together one sandwich. All right. And then I asked her that, okay, then what are you going to make for lunch? And Priyanjali's mom didn't have a cook because she believed in making everything herself. She was a Bengali and she really liked to cook. So at 8 in the morning, she would say, oh, I'm just going to put my nail polish before I go to work because, I'm wearing this blue color sari. So I want to wear this blue color nail polish. And here I have not even had a bath. Okay. And she tells me, today I made mutton curry, because Priyanjali's dad, Anish likes mutton. So I made mutton curry. But Priyanjali and her brother don't like mutton so much. So I made paneer for them. And then ek dal to banta hai na. काली दाल बना लिया मैंने, और ऑब्वियसली यार सैलेड एंड वो सब तो बनता है, राइट? एंड I was cursing her. She was a very good friend of mine, but I was cursing her because I had to cook. All I had to tell the cook was what to make. Okay? But you know, my mind was full of so many things that I couldn't plan and tell her. Okay. And here this female has made some 3 grand dishes for an ordinary day, sent the kids perfectly with perfect lunch boxes. And she had these perfect kids who would do very well in school. Homework was all done. Everything was done. And here I am struggling. Okay. I'm very angry with my husband. I'm angry with my father-in-law. I'm angry with my cook, and generally angry at my whole life. Okay. And I said, everybody else is to blame. I don't know why I didn't listen to my father, and why did I get married so early? I should have actually settled down in my career and then, you know, got married when I was 35 and then had a kid. Oh God, I mean, why did I do all this? So where do you think, I mean, why do you think that Priyanjali's mom, same age as me, okay, we were college friends, had everything sorted out, doing very well in a career, and me, okay, nothing sorted out, okay, and we were the same thing. Why do you think she was so sorted out? And this is a true story.
She knew her priorities.
Pardon?
She knew her priorities.
She knew her priorities and she knew how to deal with everything. See, my priority also was the same. Yeah, I mean, I loved my children. I wanted the best for my children. I wanted to make all those different dishes, but I didn't know how. She knew how. She figured it out, right? I mean, so if you're in a balanced state of mind, then things sort out. You can delegate. You can, you know, do so many things. And when you're in a calm state of mind, people around you also work with you and work for you. I'm sure, Chetan, if you know, at work, you have so many people working under you. You know, if you are in a balanced state of mind, you see everybody performing very well. Sure. But the boss itself is like very confused and highly this, and you wonder, oh God, why is he like this? What happened in this house today that he is like this? You have these questions, right? I mean, you have these things. So this was a difference. So working on emotional fitness is, I feel, much more important than, as important, if not more, than your physical fitness. And working on emotional fitness doesn't take so much time. But like you work out for your, you know, on your physical fitness, it takes time, right? Your muscles take time to build. You can't decide that today I'm going to go to the gym and then tomorrow I will have a 6-pack ab. Does it happen like that? No. Or you want to lose weight, you want to lose 20 kilos and you start today and you don't end up losing 20 kilos in a week's time or a month's time, right? I mean, it takes time, but we do that. We do that. We have a lot of discipline for that. Some of us, okay, not me, but some of us have. But most of us don't even think that this emotional fitness is important until it's too late. And when it's too late, what happens is that you have a lot of health problems, which is caused by stress. You know, the opposite of emotional fitness is stress. Whatever that stress may be. Stress may be because your phone rings and you're in a hurry to pick up the phone. You're scared, oh, my boss is calling me, or, you know, whatever, my mother is calling me, or my husband is calling me, or whatever. Small things. And all this adds up. Okay. And you're not emotionally fit if you can't handle it. And remember, it's the small emotional stresses which add up, and then later on you know that these thyroid hormonal imbalances are very, very common. In women, these are common. In men, you have other stresses like your heart, or you have your diabetes and things like that, which is very, very common, and you don't realize because your body doesn't show it. Your body is amazing till it'll manage until it can't manage, and then break out as some kind of a health problem. So that's why it's very important that you stress on emotional fitness now, from today. You commit that you will be the driver of your bus from now till your whole life, for your whole life. Yes, do I hear a commitment from all of you?
Yes.
You know, the reason I'm telling you, I'm very passionate about it. Maybe I'm not conveying the importance of this fully, but I have seen what a difference it's made in my life the moment I started understanding the importance of emotional fitness. And it starts with a decision. I still remember the day I decided that my dreams and my life are mine to make. I am responsible to making my dreams come true and, you know, having my life in a certain way. And I remember 3 years ago or something, I made this decision and I put it out in a big chart paper. You know, I am responsible for making my dreams come true. And, you know, it's beautiful. Once you figure that out, it is very, 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 very beautiful. And, you know, Achal will be able to share with you. Hi, Unni. Achal, do you see a difference in me?
Yeah, 1000%.
So I was this crazy mom. I was this crazy mom, always screaming, Achal, come here, Achal, do your homework. Achal, paratha, Achal, eat dal chawal, Achal, drink milk. Okay, I was a crazy mom, and people would look at me and not understand. Outwardly, I would not show my stress at all. Okay, I was pretty confident and I had my company going on and things going on. So outwardly, there was no sign of stress. But inwardly, it did take a toll. And now I'm very happy to say that I am the driver of my life. So let's move on to the next slide, which is why is working on your emotional fitness important? I told you. And believe me, the more you start working on your emotional fitness, it is what your Sri Sri Ravi Shankar says and your Sadhguru says and a whole lot of people say, okay? But, you know, you don't have to go to them to become emotionally fit. You can be your own coach and do it at your home. It's just, the first step is just awareness, the intention and the awareness that I am going to drive my own bus. So, what and how should you build your emotional muscle? Okay, so there's no such thing as emotional muscle, but I believe that this is a muscle which you can build and strengthen. And why do you need yourself to be strong? So that you can handle difficult situations, right? I mean, life happens, shit happens all the time. I mean, COVID is a perfect example, but otherwise also life happens. I mean, you know, somebody loses their husband, they lose their child, or you lose your job, or, you know, I mean, you break your ankle and you're bedridden for some 6 months, which happened to me. I mean, life happens, shit happens, okay? And how do you deal with that shit and then still be kind of balanced is what we are going to talk about. So how do you build your emotional muscle? Okay. So here's what I do and I recommend for all my clients, which has worked very, very, very well. You can be your own coach. First of all, measurement. The way you measure yourself when you want to have a fit body. You measure your weight and you have your measurements for your whatever body parts and all that, right? So measurement is very, very important. So the first quiz we took is the starting point to know where we are. Okay, and that I usually make my clients do in about 3 months interval regularly. Hi, who's this with Dikshita? Varun. Hi, Varun. I'm so glad.
Hi, Varun
Yeah,
here.
it's so nice. Yeah. And you know what? This emotional fitness is very useful for couples. Very, very useful. Before you get married or in a relationship, you should go through courses like this, because then you'll be easier on each other. Right? Even if one person understands it. Yeah. So first step is measurement. Okay. To know where you are at this point of time. The second step, which I do, is I have a daily mood calendar. Because what happens is, generally we ignore it. Huh? If you don't have a mood calendar, it's like, having your calendar for your daily events. You do it, right? Because that's very, very important. But you hardly you don't measure your mood. And I would say that there are three variants. One is you're in a flow. You have this perfect day where your hair is perfect, okay? What you wear is perfect, and you get the parking spot where you want, and then, all your employees are on time, and, everything happens perfectly, or it's in a flow. So you have that kind of a day. And that's the day we are aiming for every day. So that's a flow, however you want to mark it in your mood calendar. Second is, you're letting somebody drive your bus. You're not sad. You're getting through the day. But you're letting somebody drive your bus. And third is that when you're having a difficult day. Three types of moods. To start with, you measure it like that. For females, I would also ask them to measure their moods, say in the mornings and in the evenings, because we females are very more emotional than the men are, kind of. Okay. So anyways, so that is one. Number two is every day, whether in a journal or anything else, you mark, run through your previous day, see yourself doing whatever, and kind of jot down the things which made you feel heavy or sad, whatever that is. Okay. I mean, say you were very angry with your co-worker for not getting back on time. That is one. Or you were very bugged with your partner or your boyfriend for whatever, throwing the towel on the bed. Anything, okay? Anything which the small things also which made you irritated. Or you were very angry with yourself because you had committed to yourself that you're going to finish this task today, but you couldn't do it. Or you felt guilty that, oh God, Mother's Day, and I didn't call my mom, and you're feeling guilt and you're blaming yourself. So whatever it is, kind of note it down. And these are small things, they can be big things also. Like for me personally, in my previous avatar, not now, I'm this happiness coach now, but in the previous avatar, I used to have a lot of FOMO, okay? A lot of FOMO. So I would see somebody kind of, going on a holiday somewhere, and I would be like, oh God, look at me, I'm such a loser, I'm sitting at home and this person is in a holiday there, or whatever. And for me, I had FOMO about everything, okay? Say, Amulya is a good Bharatnatyam dancer, and I see her on stage doing Bharatnatyam. And I would say, oh God, what a waste I am. Yeah, I didn't learn Bharatnatyam when I could. Like, my mom did enroll me, but I left the class because I was not very fond of it. But then when I see Amulya, I'll be like, okay. Or when I see Chetan, I'll say, oh God, look at him, yaar. He's the founder of this company. I always had this kind of idea, but I never did it. And he did it. Okay. Anything. I mean, it could be anything. I mean, I had FOMO about people's hair also. I said, wow, look at their hair, yeah. And look at my hair. Why is it so Malayali hair kind of a thing? I'm a Malayali kind of. So why is it? So these things also can irritate you. And you're human. It is okay to feel like that. But just note it down. Note it down nicely in your own handwriting, because I feel there's a connection with when you write rather than type on your laptop. There's a connection to the brain. Your brain understands that these are things you don't like. And then make a note of all the things which make you happy or light. You know, you have a light feeling, you have a heavy feeling. Say you went for a walk and you saw these beautiful flowers and you're happy, fine. Or you saw this small child, you know, very innocently playing, you know, please write it down. Or, you know, you wrote this fantastic email. You wanted to convey something to your colleague and you found a perfect way of doing it without hurting him, but just yet putting your message across. Please write it. Give yourself that credit. So write down all the things which make you feel light, make you feel heavy. For me, you know, I would hate clothes. You know, I mean, if, for those of you who have lived in Bombay or know about Bombay, there's a lot of space constriction, okay? So, and Bombay has a lot of rains. 4 months during the year, you have rains. So generally there'll be clothes drying outside on the balconies, or there'll be clothes everywhere, okay? So for me, if I see clothes around drying, no, that would irritate me. And I would get this very blah feeling, okay? Very, very blah feeling. So I know during the initial days, I wrote it down that this gives me a very blah feeling. Clothes lying around gives me a very, very blah feeling. I wrote it down. Or if I cannot connect with Aanchal used to live in the hostel those days, and if I can't connect with her and I'm stressed, that would give me a blah feeling. Or if my husband tells me, Vidya, I think you have put on some weight, that would give me a blah feeling. But you know, I would very religiously write down all these things. Or if I had to organize an event. Okay, by the way, I was working with IAN, Indian Angel Network. And, you know, I used to manage their South India operations. And we used to have these monthly meetings where entrepreneurs would come and present. And we had this group of investors who were coming and, you know, listening to the entrepreneurs. And it was my responsibility to make sure that all the investors come. Because imagine you have 5-6 entrepreneurs coming and presenting and the investors don't turn up. You know, so I would have the sinking feeling. One person drops out, I'll have the sinking feeling. Second person drops out. Imagine, yeah, you have only 3-4 investors and you have these entrepreneurs traveling from Mumbai coming to present. So, but I would write it down. Now, if the investor is not turning up, can I control it? I can't control it. But yet I felt so responsible. I did my best. I, you know, called them, sent them a WhatsApp, everything. But if they didn't turn up, it was not on me, right? But then it took me a long time to kind of understand and say, yeah, you're not worth it. This is not worth making you feel heavy, right? But only when I noticed and wrote it down, I could make a change. So that's why I'm saying small things, big things. Okay. Like my husband says that when I see your hair on the floor, he feels heavy. He feels irritated. I mean, we are females, we have hair falls. So you write it down. Then what happens is you categorize it, okay, into various buckets. So the things which are in not in your control, you just say, forget it. Yeah, it's not in my control. I did my best, but it's not in my control. Okay. Now, out of this, you know, there are a lot of clutter things. There are a lot of unwanted things which make you feel heavy, which I call clutter. You know, you have visual clutter when you go to somebody's house and they have so many of these artifacts and God, you know, it's a visual clutter. Okay, they can handle it, but I couldn't handle it. So I eliminated all visual clutter. So all my you know, my shelves and all will not have anything over it. I'll always have cupboards which will this. It eliminated my clutter. Okay. Then you have a lot of obviously digital clutter, work-related clutter. Okay. You have emails going back and forth. Oh God, these groups and these emails which go back and forth, and the message gets lost, and there are a lot of in-between messages which happen. Okay. And if you can't deal with it, then eliminate it. Some people can deal with it. They're very good at it. so be it. Like Unni is there. Na? Where is Unni? Unni is very good at handling multiple. Unni is there, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Unni is very good at it, okay? But Achal is not good at it. So for Achal, I told her, look, you get 2 phones. Get one work-related phone and one your own phone. And the own phone, you just keep it off till the night, then you can sleep. Because otherwise it gets to you. So identify all the clutter areas. By clutter, what I mean is things which are not important for you. Now at this time, COVID time, okay, everybody has this problem that, oh God, I have to do the vessels. Or I have to wash clothes or whatever, right? You have, right? All of us have. We all have to do jhadu pocha. I hope the men are doing jhadu pocha. I hope. Okay. My husband does it, okay? He's got very good at the mopping part of it. So anyway, so clutter. Remove clutter. I mean, for females, I'm saying be like the men. They have these standard, some 3-4 jeans which they wear and some 4-5 t-shirts which they wear. Life is sorted for them. Their hairstyle, you see, life is sorted. We have so many of these, okay, what earring to wear and what top to wear and then what scarf to wear and what shoe to wear. It's clutter, especially when you have a lot of things to handle. So eliminate it. Eliminate it. Keep your physical clutter very, very clean. For example, I have right now, it's just me and my husband. So I have only 2 plates outside, 2 spoons, 2 glasses, and 2 katoris. That's it. So washing becomes very easy. And 1 cooker to cook everything. It becomes very easy. I don't miss my maid at all. I mean, I'm okay. And the things which I don't like to do, I outsource. I don't like to cut vegetables. So I get my maid to cut vegetables and keep it outside. I'll sanitize it or whatever, I wash it with vinegar and all and use it all. So simple, right? Life becomes very, very simple. So clutter is one. So I told clutter. These are the things which I do, okay? So I know that it will help you also. For whoever it is a problem. Third is, there are certain things what other people, behave with you, which you can't control. Right? You can't control how, say, if Achal doesn't call me on Mother's Day, I can't force her to call me on Mother's Day, can I? I mean, hey, I'm your mother, please call me. I can't do that. I mean, so, things which are not in your control, make a story. I mean, this is a story you're making. If Achal doesn't call me on Mother's Day, it's a story I'm making that, hey, my kids don't care about me. So much of my life I've given for my kids and they don't care about me. This is a story which you make for yourself, right? Maybe she's caught up in something else. Maybe she forgot. Or maybe she planned to call later. Or maybe she planned to surprise me. You don't know. Okay. Or maybe she had a fight with Unni. So she was very upset. Unni is Achal's boyfriend. So you don't know. But it's a story you make up saying that, hey, my daughter doesn't love me. I'm saying make a story. If you're making a story, then make a story which suits you. Right? I mean, everything is a story after all. We are also stories. We don't know whether we are really there or not in this universe. Right? So make a story which suits you. See, your ultimate goal is to keep yourself happy. Nobody else is going to take care of you. You make a story. So Dikshita, if Varun does something or doesn't do something, make a story which suits you, which makes you happy. Okay, he doesn't need to validate it. Doesn't matter. Okay, so that is one thing. Then third is, to remind yourself to do all this. And laugh about yourself. Okay, make funny stories about yourself. Yesterday I was such a fool, yaar. I got so stressed and hassled that Achal didn't call me, yaar. So funny I am, na? What are these mothers, yeah? Make a joke about yourself, okay? And make this situation light. And this is not, Achal is a very small example, but I'm saying that every day we go through so much, right? Make a joke about yourself. Fourth thing which I do, which really works very well, is we all have things which we do every day. Like we brush our teeth every day, hopefully. Then we have a shower every day, again, hopefully, because COVID times, nobody knows, nobody can smell you. So you have a shower and you poop every day. So use these times to actually go through these things of emotional fitness. Okay. And where are you lacking? What are the things which are, and you'll see slowly, week on week, you'll see that the first week, the things which were heavy for you, because you did all this and you made these funny stories, week 5, it will not be heavy for you. Because you'll be your own coach and you'll figure out. Like for me, frankly, speaking to a group, unknown group, is terrorizing for me. Absolutely terrorizing for me. So I really made fun of myself and I said, I'm going to tell this to the group also so that they can make fun of me. And I recognize that this is a heavy stressor for me. In the past, I have left jobs because they had, people had invited me to be a part of a panel discussion talking about startups and valuation. And though I knew the subject very, very well, I just couldn't go on the stage and do it. So I left jobs because of that. I mean, tell me, is it worth it? It was amazing, okay? I was with a VC and I had to do a panel discussion. So simple, right? But this terrorized me. But the moment I started recognizing it, then you can work towards building that skill or capability. That's not difficult. That's not at all difficult. If you want to learn Kannada, you just have to put some time and go towards learning Kannada, right? It's not difficult. But remember that this whole thing which I'm telling you, these are very small things. You can go to a guru and you can, do meditation, you do all that. But in addition to this, if you do this in a very mindful manner, on an everyday basis, you'll see very small changes. Okay? When you see small changes, please pat yourself in the back and say, hey, I did this, yeah. I'm going to definitely pat myself in the back. I'm going to have a nice glass of wine and say, hey, I gave this presentation, okay? Like unknown people, but I did it. So do that. See where you have come from, where you are. Measure yourself with yourself, not with others. Okay? So these are small, small things which you can do to make yourself life very, very easy. Very, very easy. And once you start noticing the things which make you feel heavy and start working on it, whichever way you want, actually, say you have your mother's voice, okay? Hey, Amulya, what is this? You're not spending time, you're not contributing in the house, you're not helping out in the house. Make it into a funny voice. Laugh about it. Oh, my mother, yeah. You know how people do, no? She'll keep doing, you laugh about it. So it doesn't stay in your this. It doesn't become a stressor for you. You laugh about it and you do it or you don't do it. That's your wish. But it doesn't affect you. So these are things. Men do it all the time with respect to their wives or their girlfriends. We need to teach the men, I think, but generally. So this is what I do. So I'm going to actually take you through a small kind of it's not a meditation, but a visualization. Okay. So you have done this thing where you had plotted your graph, the unbalanced circle, right? So imagine that everything in your thing at this point of time, wherever you are, is 10 on 10. Obviously, when you're not married and you don't have kids, you can't say that, oh, I see my kids happily married and all that. So wherever you are at this point of time, you see yourself 10 on 10. And what would that look like? Okay. And then I want you to close your eyes and just follow my instructions. If you can. This is not voodoo stuff. This is good fun. Okay. Follow my instructions. Okay. And see a big TV screen or a movie theater in front of you. Okay. And, relax. You can put your hands on your lap if that's comfortable. Okay. And see yourself having achieved this 10 on 10 in every area of your life. and see where you are. How's your environment? By environment, I mean, where you live, where you work, and the people you're interacting with, the car you're driving, your social media handles, anything. I mean, your kids, your family. See that whole new environment. And when you're seeing it, add a lot of color, make it very real, colorful, and vibrant. And see yourself smiling. This is the environment you always wanted. Whatever environment that is. You decide to change your workplace, to Ooty, and you're working from there, or you're working from a golf course. And you're cycling to work, or you're driving a big flashy car, or you have your own bus. Whatever is your environment. Environment is everything we interact with. See in that environment, a healthy, non-COVID, COVID-free kind of a world, if you want. This is your dream, right? So you do just see everything. And now I slowly want you to actually get into that movie. Get into you in that movie. And now you're seeing the whole environment as a first person. Hear what people are telling you, talking to you. They're happy, excited. See the contracts which are happening. Or maybe you moved into a new house. Just feel everything. See all the colors and the sounds. Maybe the smells also. The more senses you use, the better it is. And, seeing all this and hearing all this and feeling all this, there's this deep sense, deep feeling, very light feeling, because it's what you want, right? And let this feeling actually just run through your whole body. And let it go into every cell of your body. And now, see how you are behaving. What are you doing? What are the new things, new behaviors you have? Maybe your posture has changed. Maybe you've become 2-3 inches taller. Maybe you smile more often. Maybe you laugh a lot. Maybe you're more kind to people. See your behavior, how it's changed with everybody in your environment. And the behavior with yourself, how has it changed? And again, let that feeling seep into every cell of your body. And now, see what are the new capabilities and skills you have developed over these 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, which allow you to do all these behaviors. Maybe you have, learned something new. Maybe you took a leadership class. Maybe, you've learned cooking. What are these new capabilities? Or like me, learned how to speak in front of strangers. What are these capabilities and skills you have developed over these years, very consciously, forming small routines, small consistent routines you have developed so that you can do these behaviors in this new environment? And see how happy you are, having achieved all this. And for all these capabilities and skills which you have developed, see what kind of beliefs and constructs you have now. Yeah, I can do it. Maybe a belief. And nothing is impossible. Everything is possible for me. I put my mind to it and I can do it. What are those beliefs? And what are the beliefs you discard? And what are the beliefs you embrace, which work for you? And the values which work for you? And see yourself becoming richer and richer. Feel yourself becoming richer and richer. And now, think of your identity. What would you call yourself as? I am. Like I call myself, I am a happiness coach. All these things, that's become my identity. What is your identity? What is this new identity of yours? It can be anything which fully describes you. You can have multiple identities also. Which fully describes to all of you. And with this new environment and this new behaviors and skills and capabilities and all the constructs and beliefs and the stories which work for you and the identity which you are, look at yourself connected to the whole universe. And how you are doing your bit. And you're fully integrated. And you're doing your bit, whatever that bit is. And you're connected. And you're responsible for yourself and the whole universe. Everything is one. Everything is flowing. And from there, now come and see your identity. Take this whole oneness with you and come and see your identity. And see how it's further changed. Now see all your stories and beliefs. And how they have further enriched and worked for you, worked with you. And see all your capabilities and skills further sharpened. And very easy. And with this state of oneness, see your behaviors. See see your behavior changing with everybody. And see the richness in your environment. And see how easy this one decision, this one intention can make such a profound, deep difference in your life. And integrate all these various steps. And when it's fully integrated into your whole body, your whole body, mind, soul, and you feel at peace and in balance. And when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. Welcome back, guys. So how did you all feel?
Calm. But also
Happy.
Yeah, happy.
Yeah. And you could open up so many possibilities, right? Which you feel is, I don't think it's possible. Possibilities opened up, right? So this is just a small taste of what I do. Generally on my one-on-one, with my one-on-one clients, I do a much deeper level of this. But just a taste of what I do. And with this, we are ready to end the session unless you have some questions for me.
I think Devesh had a question for you early on. He had raised his hand.
I'm so sorry.
No problem.
Devesh.
I think it was on the first slide when you were talking about that wheel. So I was about to say that having a perfect life and perfect work-life balance is a utopian thing. Nobody has that.
Agree.
That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is no perfect life. There is no this, and this is life. So you will always have the thing. You will not have a perfect circle ever. But
True.
We try to balance. That's why it is called balance. Your whole body itself is working on homeostasis, which is, balancing every aspect of your body, right? So that is what human beings, all beings, living creatures do. It's constantly maintaining that balance. That's what we are. Standing on this earth itself is a balance. I mean, we don't realize it, but we are, standing ulta on a spinning ball. So it's constantly about balance. Yes. There's no utopia, but we can do our best consciously to kind of reduce stressors which are unnecessary. There are stressors which, like the COVID situation, which cannot be avoided. Illness cannot be avoided. I mean, you say loss of job cannot be avoided. There are big stressors and people take on that. Okay, but the small stressors can be avoided. And if you avoid the small stressors and know how to deal with it, then you will be in a better capacity to handle the bigger stressors. That's what we have to do. And all human beings,
I was just going to ask, so is it more you're being aware of, like, I know through your techniques also, you said reflect on what is it that's giving you joy, what isn't giving you joy, and then try to see how you can kind of make one more step towards.
Yeah.
Not because I guess we can control that. We can't control it.
Increase the joy and try to reduce the things which you can see. Many a times, a lot of our stressors are because we don't have the capabilities. Okay, say you go for a new role, okay, and you don't have the capability, and that stresses you. But it's a capability which can be learned. Once you decide to do, it can be learned. I mean, if you go into finance role, balance sheets and all, you don't know. But all these can be learned, but this is not you. But what happens is most of us, most of the, the heavy feeling, this incongruence comes in our relationship with self. 90% of all the imbalances are because of our relationship with self. And once you, through these techniques and exercises, you take care of that, then everything else is just a matter of learning. Just a matter of learning. Cooking is a matter of learning. Cleaning is a matter of learning. I mean, investments is a matter of learning. Running a business is a matter of learning. Everything is a matter of learning. Once your relationship with self is really stable. So these exercises, if you see, the relationship with self will improve. And then, the rest of the world is just an illusion anyways. So, you just focus on your relationship with self. So with this, I come to an end for my session. Any other questions? Yeah, another thing which I wanted to add is sometimes, your heavy moods and your sad moods could be because of a physiological, imbalance. Either you have a thyroid imbalance or you have, something like that. And that also needs to be checked out. Like a lot of people are having a lot of fatigue and sadness because their vitamin D is very low, especially in these COVID times. So these checks and balances you have to do regularly. Get your blood test done and make sure that all your vitamins and all are B12 and vitamin D. See, because if you're very tired, then you can't work effectively. Then you blame yourself. Oh, I didn't do this. I didn't do this. So you have to rule out those things. I mean, that is natural, right? I mean, so that's the thing. But
yes, it's also making the effort, right? Even jotting down your mood calendar or seeing, it's still an effort. And I think that effort,
it is an effort, but it really pays in the long run. It really pays in the long run. And I'm telling you, I've converted a lot of people into journaling and writing down these things. Journaling means I don't want you to write long stories, but just the small thing. And it really makes a lot of difference. A lot of difference. So all the best to all of you. I hope you found this a little bit, meaningful.
Yes, thank you, Vidya. I feel like, when we think of work-life balance, we're thinking of work, and then we're thinking of life, and then we're thinking, okay, how do I balance this? But then there's just such simplicity to things. And I think as humans, we agree with more complex things. And I keep hearing this again, and I think it's completely...
Everything is so simple. Yeah.
It's simple, right? And it starts with you. And then, just going off of that point, guys, if you got anything out of the session, even if it's just one thing out of this session, first of all, thank you so much for making it. It means a lot, to me and Vidya. But if you got anything from this session, the donation links are out there. Please go ahead and make a donation. Like I've said in all the other sessions, maybe, you might think something is too less, even a 50 rupees or 100 rupees goes a long way for someone, who's in need. And again, going back to the point, it's all, the control is within us, right? And we can only control ourselves. You can't control your external situations. You can't control the people around you, but you can, put your best foot forward. And I don't know what, there's this magic in terms of how the universe kind of understands and plays things according to how, you envisioned, through that visualization we went through. So that's something for us to explore.
Yeah,
definitely.
Thanks, Auntie. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. It was really nice.
Yes. Thank you very, very much. It was good fun to be here. And yeah, this is very close to my heart. So I really feel that, you know, I should bato this happiness to everybody around. I mean, और कुछ तो दे नहीं सकते हैं. I can't, you know, make huge donations or use this, but happiness is free, right? You can kind of give it, and it's nice. It feels very nice when, you know.
I think that's the most needed donation right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all secondary.
Yeah. And makes a lot of difference. You know, you empower the other person, na? That's all you can do, right? You can empower the other person to kind of do his or her best.
Yeah.
So that's what life is, right?
Absolutely.
It was good fun, yeah. Thank you for being such a patient audience and going through this my visualization thing. I hope you enjoyed it, and do let me know, you know, if you practice these tips which I've shared with you, and if it's made a difference, and you see, say 6 months or 1 year down the line, you suddenly see this dream coming true. Because I don't believe in goals, because goals are like I feel it's a jail to say too much of pressure. So I talk about dreams. Okay? So dreams is no pressure. You set the intention and you work towards it, yes. But leave the outcome to whatever the universe, or it will happen, or something better will happen.
Yeah, I actually read in, guys, I mean, if anyone wants to drop off the call, please feel free to, because like we're past time, but we're just chit-chatting right now. But I read this in The Power of Now, actually, and he talks about how whatever you're doing, if you're doing it with resentment or resistance, it kind of pours into everything else, your work, your life, and you're making other people suffer through that. So I feel like that's super important, because this makes you aware of what that even is. Sometimes we're just so blind to it, you know, we keep doing the same things without learning. And if anything, it like benefits us the most. So why not do it? Yeah.
Absolutely. So TK, thanks very much. Bye. See you.
So much. I will
meet again sometime in the universe somewhere. Okay. Bye. See you.
All right. Bye. Thank you.